Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 26th of September. My name's Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
Gary, the year just continues to fly like a bird in the distance.
Like an eagle, in the words of Steve Miliband. Phil, fly like an eagle. And I tell you what, we're already well into spring. We're immersed.
Well, Gary, as we said at the sales meeting yesterday, we just called our troops to attention and said 6 weeks of listing to go before the end of the year. And what that means in practical terms, vendors, is that we're virtually now booked out October. And it's almost impossible to come in for anything other than the last week of October. So on the basis of that, that really leaves 4 weekends in November, 3 in December, and then it's all over until 2018, of which I looked at our auction list before this show started, Gary. We've already got bookings in March and April of 2018.
Well, I'm not surprised. People are planning long-term, Phil. They're getting organised, getting ready for the next 4, 5, 6 months ahead, Phil.
Speaking of 2018, Gary, are you going to go to the Commonwealth Games in Surfers Paradise?
Haven't even thought about, but there was a lot going on there in preparation when we went to that conference. Wasn't there? They're getting ready, so I'm sure they'll turn it on, Phil, in a big way. No, I'm not planning on going. You?
No intention whatsoever, but I think there is a bit of stimulus up in that Gold Coast economy, as we saw a couple of weeks ago.
The tram going right through the middle of town there now, Phil.
Goes all the way to the university in Southport, which I found fairly incredible.
Back the other way to
Gary, we finished a weekend where our clearance rate was a 71%, which met the industry average of 71%.
Pretty close anyway.
Do we think that, other than last weekend, which was amazing, do we think that the market is stable? Is it going up? Is it going down? Because the viewers do want to know at the start of this show what our view is of the market. Because we've called it a couple of times.
A couple of different ways.
I was going to say false starts, but it's a dynamic thing, this market. Week by week, we'll let it unfold. What's your view?
Well, you know, the interesting thing is, even though there was a number of properties passed in, 70% plus is always a good clearance rate.
Yep.
You'll take that, you'll always say it's a vendor's market more so, although it's more imbalanced than it was.
More balanced.
But interestingly enough...
You still think a 70% clearance is a vendor's market?
I do. I think it's more so a vendor's market than a buyer's market, but certainly more so in balance, more in parity, not as much intense competition. But Philip, having said that, also the properties that we passed in, most of them had a buyer there.
That's true.
That's an interesting thing as well.
Right.
So it's not like the buyers have
do you think that's more then vendors need to recalibrate their expectations?
Some of them will. Some of them do need to. Some of them will need to. Some of them who are putting their properties on the market expecting to get more from the precedented prices may be disappointed, Philip.
Yes.
But those who want what has been precedent,
I want to go back to your view that 70% is a vendor's market. See, I reckon 65 to 70% is a market imbalance.
Fair enough. Well, it's pretty much. And what, 71% is all of a sudden swings to a big vendor market?
No, but you're saying, you sort of kind of clearly
So what's the number? What's a vendor's market?
I think in excess of 75% is a vendor's market.
That's the number. So over 70, that's different altogether.
71% is a imbalanced market. 75% is warming up to a vendor's market.
What do you think people think about what you're saying right now? They just think that it's just rubbish.
The overwhelming feedback from our focus groups about GPTV is that I carry the show and that you are really there just as a prop. I reckon I could do this show with a cardboard cutout of you, and the viewers would find that just as stimulating.
And the source, your viewer source,
your
research, the focus group. The focus groups would have to be what? Your kids, your dad, who? And I doubt that they'd even be supportive of you because they tell me I can't get a word in.
Do you know what, Gary? The focus groups have clearly shown that a cardboard cutout of you is sufficient.
Well, you just bring those focus group results in right into next week's meeting and it'll further bolster your great credibility that you already have.
Viewers, if you would like to be part of our focus groups, just send your...
focus group.
Of course there's focus groups.
There's nothing.
Gary,
there's only about 5 people even watch the show.
Everybody has a focus group.
Yeah, everyone has.
I've got my own personal focus group.
We should get a focus group. People have said to us for 30 years, why don't you get a focus group? Ask people, if they get a focus group, get a focus group. And for 30 years we've said, we're going to get a focus group.
This is how out of touch with the day-to-day operations of the business that you are, because we've been having focus groups and focus sessions.
See them sitting around.
Years.
Yes, just like our planned goals, just like all of the other things that we're so well structured with. Look, Phil, it's still a good market. That's the bottom line.
It's a balanced market.
70% plus. It's a market that is more imbalanced than it was. I agree with that.
But it's taken us. I reckon it's taken us.
I said it was
Kaiser, the
more.
cameraman's is doing like this at the moment. 6 minutes it took me to get you to the point of actually having some serious in-depth analysis about the show.
If your IQ was in double digits, you would have more. You would have known at the start of the show. I did say it's more imbalanced, but I still think it's a vendor's market.
Get on with
vendor's market, balanced market. You decide. What we can though talk about, Philip, is some of the results on the weekend, because we had some beauties. Philip, I went to North Road, saw Simon Redolny conduct a very good auction. He is a very good auctioneer, Simon, I must say, and sold that property for $485,000.
2 weekends in a row, Gary, where we've had successful competitive auctions on North Road.
Yes.
And it brings up an interesting point.
Yes.
To buy on a main road or not to buy on a main road.
We've had a focus group on this. What did they say, Phil?
Well, we can put a focus group together, but
we haven't had one yet.
But interestingly, viewers, there is always a discount factor to buying on a main road.
Yep.
So real estate on main roads is good real estate if it's bought at the correct price and generally sells at a discount to being round the corner.
And you get more bang for your buck, don't
Well, that's
you,
it.
Phil?
That's it.
And so often we find, like the one with Leon last week, is that often when it's on a main road, the perception of it, oh, it must be noisy, is really not the truth, because so many properties are set back, they're behind the building, so it really doesn't matter too much.
And if you think about viewers, if you drive along any of the main roads at night, you'll see lights on in every house. People are living
every
there.
house.
We'll have a focus group on the lights. On that. But my point being is that we sell
there's
houses
no
on
vacancies.
all of the main roads, North Road, Dandenong Road, Nepean Highway, all of these roads, and people are living there very happily.
On that we agree, Philip. We also have to agree that Leo Samuel does a damn fine auction himself. How about this one-bedroom apartment in Tranmere Avenue, Carnegie, Philip, where we thought we might get low threes or perhaps mid threes, sold, one bedroom, $403,000.
Which is quite extraordinary, because if you do a database search on one-bedroom sales in Carnegie, the great majority of them would sell circa $350,000.
Yeah.
So that is a big result.
I think if you got a focus group together on that one, that agree with it as well. Phil, Sunday morning I was the solo auctioneer at 10:30 in my hood, Elizabeth Street, Alstonwick.
Yes, I believe it went well, Gary.
It did go really well.
Feedback was from our focus group on do Elizabeth Street auctions at 10:30 on Sunday morning work.
Got thumbs up.
Everybody said you did
It was
an excellent job.
It was unanimous, wasn't it? They all agreed. Anyway, sold for $845. Philip, reserve was $800. Nicely positioned in the range there. Well done to Sally Zellman and crew. And Idan, one of our young stars, located the buyer through our wonderful shifting of buyer database matching system, Philip, that our focus group always says makes the industry.
Across our organisation, whether you're working out of the Carnegie office, the St Kilda office, or the Caulfield office, wherever there is a property, our salespeople are allowed to refer buyers there, and if their buyer that is referred buyers, they share in the fee. And we have a competitive but cooperative structure.
That's correct, Philip, and that's what makes one of the great successful pillars of our organisation, Philip. No question about it.
One of the pillars.
One of the pillars, Philip. One of the pillars of a good organisation of real estate is to have good auctioneers and salespeople, and they were on display at 5 at 7, Kooyong Road, Caulfield North. Cop this result, Philip, expecting somewhere in the high fives, low sixes. The reserve was in that range. Sold for $723,000. Massive crowd, and some people said that was the best auction they'd ever seen before. Good on you, Jeremy Rosen.
Yes, he did a great result. Viewers, just to deconstruct that sale a little bit, it was a nice unit, but you wouldn't say that there was anything particularly stand out-ish.
And it had that factor, Phil.
But it had land. It had the courtyard.
It had the courtyard.
And viewers, everybody is looking for a courtyard or some land when we're talking about the apartment market. Some outdoor space.
Wants a courtyard, Philip. 20 Moylan Street, Bentley East, another successful auction. Again, well in excess. And I suppose when I review some of these results, it makes me think that the market just tips over from balance to vendor market, Philip. 20 Moylan Street sold for $1,301,000. Well done to Leo. I know we've got a very happy seller at that property, Phil. Raphael Street, well, you sold that one successfully.
Gary, we did.
It is disclosed at $1,650,000. Somewhat of a record, but you know, you can't buy much in terms of a block of land in Caulfield North. So on one hand, record, on the other hand, value.
And I think that's the way you've got to look at it, isn't it? That it was a strong price. But if you want to get into the epicentre of Caulfield North, you do have to pay that sort of money.
Absolutely, and congratulations to those delightful buyers who are moving their family and life into that terrific little pocket there.
Now, you had a bit of a crack at me last week about my use of the my use of the word epicentre.
Yeah, did I?
I think it's a really good word to describe location, the epicentre.
Fair enough. We'll have to refer back to the focus group, see what they've got to say about it. Philip, 1 at 49 Kurrigal Road. That sold for $790,000. Well done to Aviv and Lior. They did a fine job there in Carnegie in their hood, as they do. Hey, no auctions to review this weekend. We've got a House of the Week, and we've also got a special little video treat, Philip, that we're going to do. But before we get to that, how about the headline here? Melbourne's property market ahead of Sydney. Now, we both agree, Melbourne versus Sydney, we're both locked in those. In fact, you were almost, at one stage of your life, could have gone and lived in Sydney, as could I have.
We could have, Gary. Imagine if we'd both gone through
reasons.
that sliding door and managed to find each other in Sydney and opened up a business in the eastern suburbs of Sydney.
How would it have
We'd
gone?
now be selling mansions, harbour-side mansions for 50,
million,
60,
50
$70
million.
million dollars.
We would have,
Not that we're unhappy with our life, Gary. In fact, we're blessed. We're blessed. But yes, we both could have lived in Sydney.
We both could have lived in Sydney, but I've got to tell you now, we can put our finger up at Sydney, Philip, in the nicest possible way, because Melbourne's property market continues to streak ahead of Sydney. Now, I've seen 2 articles this week. The growth in Melbourne is greater and more rapid in terms of prices in Sydney.
Yep.
And they also, there was another article, and I think you're going to be impressed because I've read 2 articles that were not racing. We're not in the racing
Were these
area.
podcasts, or you actually used your eyes and read?
I read them, Phil. I do read
Okay,
the paper
good.
from time to time. And the second one said that Melbourne's city is a bigger city than Sydney, because Sydney are cheating in terms of how they.
Well, they claim North Sydney as the city. They claim Parramatta now as the city.
They claim Wagga.
Look, I've got to tell you everything about Sydney.
Wagga,
Sydney, if you've got a huge amount of money, Sydney is an incredible place to live because you get that incredible harbourside mansion. But if you're not living in one of those, it is a crap city. It is a horrible place. It's a nightmare to get around. The congestion on the road. You think Melbourne's bad.
Pollution,
Sydney's
smell,
worse.
Dirty streets.
And on top of it, they're very insincere people,
Right,
Sydney.
insincere people. Best friend today, tomorrow they'll walk right through you.
Correct.
Maybe even stab you. Maybe even stab you if they've got the wrong mood going on. But so Melbourne. But when you look at that, Philip, that the property market's going ahead, then you also think that, we talk about balanced market, vendor market. You think, well, maybe there's still good value to be found in Melbourne, Philip, because the property prices of the population increases, and it's all happening. What do you think?
Gary, is as expensive as Melbourne and Sydney real estate are. I don't see any change to that, because ultimately we've got a rising population in this country. Ultimately, anybody coming to Australia wants to live in either Melbourne and Sydney. Brisbane comes in a very long third.
What about Perth?
So, well, you only go to live in Perth really if you're in the mining industry. I mean, you wouldn't choose to go to live in Perth. Not that there's anything wrong with Perth. It's very beautiful. No, but that was an economic decision. But if you think about it, Melbourne, Sydney, there's going to be more and more people coming from particularly Asia to this country, because this is the best country on the planet.
And the best city within it, Philip. Let's move on, talking about best. This is the best house. We're here at 92 Balaclava Road, overlooking this incredible garden, that beautiful feature water wall outside there.
Viewers, just to put this into perspective, we're sitting at the kitchen table in an alcove that comes off the kitchen and the family room that looks due north. So what you can't see, viewers, is we are looking directly into the north-facing garden. And we're looking at the water feature and the swimming pool. This house has got a real zen feel to it, Gary, but it's light, it's luxurious, very rare to find a single-storey home of this quality. Designed and built by Omnicon Constructions, who are one of Melbourne's best builders.
They are fantastic.
But this property, it has a Balaclava Road address, but technically it's Ontario.
Yes.
Because it's a very, very large block of land, well in excess of 900 square metres, that looks due north.
We are right in the Golden Mile. Ontario is one of the best streets in Caulfield.
Without question.
And we've got an oversized block of landfill of just under 1,000 square metres, somewhere just under that.
Yep.
But how about this incredible family accommodation? It's luxurious, it's beautifully appointed. Omnicom, as you said, they don't spare any expense, do they? They just do the best job possible. So we're looking forward to this one, Philip. The auction comes up, not this weekend, because this weekend we're having a bit of a break. We're not reviewing
It is
anyway.
the grand final weekend, Gary.
It is the grand final, and we are Sunday the 8th of October, which is Sunday week at 1:30 p.m. You still have time to get through it. We will be opening on grand final Sunday, Phil, but looking forward to bringing this one to the market. I don't think it's ever been offered for sale before.
It hasn't, Gary. No, the current owners had this home built especially for them. Gary, let's talk about the weekend, being the grand final weekend.
First of all, I did say, viewers, I'm in the Tiger Army.
You are part. You've absolutely paid up your Richmond membership, have you?
I love Richmond. I've always loved Richmond.
So you're a paid up member?
I'm not a paid up. I'm a paid up member.
So you're one of these people that just jump on the bandwagon, desperate for a premiership.
No.
You'll.
No. Well, I was with the Doggies last year because you had to be.
Yeah.
If you were, otherwise you had to leave Victoria.
Yes.
Couldn't stay in Victoria if you weren't
Yeah.
with the Dogs.
Yeah.
Because anyone that barracks for Sydney, just leave and go and live in one of those grotty parts of Sydney and spend the rest of your life there. But this year, there's no doubt I've been on Richmond ever since they got to the finals. I did start out in life, and this is a strange confession, I started out in life barracking for Richmond and I moved to Carlton.
Are you one of these people that swap teams?
I did. I swapped teams when I was about 8 years old. I had a very, very stern and very frank discussion with my mother, and she shifted me to Carlton.
Because your mother knew so much about football.
Mum, she was a footballer. Because, as soon as they come out from Austria, they become a football expert straight away.
Yeah,
So I shifted to the Tiger, from the Tigers. I've always had a soft spot.
Okay.
And, of course, one of my closest and oldest friends who always has been a Tigers maniac.
Yes. Shout out to Teo.
To Teo. So I'm there. I'm in the Tiger Army. I love it.
Well, we do want to see Richmond win because
For sure.
God help us if another interstate team take the flag.
Yeah.
And really, with absolute due disrespect to Adelaide,
Yes.
I mean, really, how do they produce a football team, let alone a second one out of Adelaide? I mean, it's got to be the most boring city in Australia.
Well, they've probably got nothing else to do to play footy there.
Well, maybe that's
But,
it.
I mean, with all due respect, Adelaide has got the biggest membership of any team. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
Apparently, the biggest membership.
There's nothing to do there, so
That's exactly right. Adelaide and Port Adelaide want to kill each other every day.
Yeah.
But the most interesting thing is that they've had a lot of adversity, as you know, Adelaide. They've had some adversity. They've had, of course, the death of their coach, and they had their former coach, I think, or captain. There's been a lot of.
do you reckon that'll get them through?
Well, it's driven them. I think they're the favourite.
What's your tip? You're backing the favourite because they are the favourite.
My heart is with the Tigers, and I think it'll be the most phenomenal scene in Swan Street and Bridge Road. If the Tigers win on Saturday night, I'm going to go out and celebrate. You come with me. We'll go to Richmond.
Come, Harry. You want to go and smash some shop windows in Swan Street and Bridge Road?
That's if they lose. But if they win, we're going to go there. I reckon we'll spray some champagne around and go nuts on Saturday night. What do you reckon?
Listen, I'm there.
I'm doing anything anyway.
I'm there.
It's not like I've got any friends to go out with.
It is a big weekend in Melbourne, and there's not many things that can stop the real estate industry.
Absolutely.
But it is the grand final weekend, and if you think about it, that is the weekend that Melbourne stops for.
Absolutely,
Until we stop for the horse race next month.
If the race that stops a nation, it is the footy that stops a nation, and that's why we love Australia, because what other country in the world probably does that?
Correct.
Phil, let's move on to other things we've got to talk about. There is a unique concept that I want to share with you.
Yes.
It's in Fitzroy Street, St Kilda, and whilst we don't usually take the opportunity on GPTV to show videos for properties, I want to show this video. Just check this out.
So, Gary, lovely piece of real estate marketing that.
Yes.
That's where the industry is going, more and more lifestyle media around the sale of a property.
But this is a most amazing apartment, Philip. We've got a very, very, very beautiful floor plan with a huge living, dining, meals, all opening up to this full-length terrace balcony. Philip, goes across the whole apartment.
The viewers have just sat through the
3
video.
bedrooms.
They get it, Gary. They get
I'm not going to say any more. But there is a garage there too with 2 parking spots. They wouldn't have seen that, Philip. It's quite extraordinary. Speak to Jeremy
putting
Rosens.
the contentiousness
Go see it.
aside of
Yep.
that video,
Yep.
that is beautiful real estate.
It is beautiful real estate,
And
thank you.
Fitzroy Street will go through a renaissance
Hey,
since
with
the
what's going on?
Gatwick
Yeah,
has
Gatwick,
closed.
Phil.
And I say this with, of course, due respect to the clientele of the Gatwick.
Yep.
There's no question. I think that that there will be a renaissance in Fitzroy Street
I
with
agree.
the closing of the Gatwick.
I agree.
And if you think about when the Block bring their publicity to town,
Yep.
their publicity machine about Fitzroy Street, I think people from all over Australia will know about Fitzroy Street, and it will regain the glamour of previous years.
It will. Hey, talking about the Block, Phil, it is open for inspection on Saturday, the 21st of October. It's been out there, advertised, so we're looking forward to seeing you there. I think it was 10 till 2. We'll put the time up. We'll make, if it's 10 to 2, it'll be up on your screen. If it's not, it'll say wrong Gary with the right time. But I'm pretty sure it was 10 to 2, Philip. We're going to be there with all of the many tens of thousands of people that are coming through.
It's going to be enormous.
In our backyard, Philip, in the Block this year.
Yep.
How much fun's that going to be? And
Terrific
also
fun.
we are looking forward to see what, in some ways, is our baby, because we did sell the site.
We did,
of
Gary.
the Block, so it's in some ways it's our little creation.
Our
in some
project.
Ways. Our project. So we're looking forward to seeing you at the Block. Call Jeremy Rosens and his team if you want to get through and have a look at it. And just talking about all the hyper side, it's a great house, isn't it? A great
Incredible.
house. The photos and images are
Well, we'll do
magnificent.
a GPTV from there shortly, I think.
Yeah, I
won't
think we are.
Yeah,
I think we are. We were going to keep it a great surprise and secret, but you've just let the cat out of the bag. We'll see how our focus group feels about that lack of confidentiality and discretion. That's a big wrap on GPTV for this Tuesday, the 26th of September, the day after my daughter's 18th birthday. Happy birthday,
A very
Nina.
big shout out to your daughter
Fantastic.
Nina for her 18th birthday
Straight
yesterday.
into the mahogany room, into the pub she goes. Not that she hasn't already been there, I'm sure. But happy birthday to my darling. Very proud of you, we are. That's a big wrap on GPTV. The market in balance or in favour of the vendor, you can decide. We will
Ask a focus group.
Ask a focus group. We will keep you informed. Next week, some more news about the marketplace.
And you,
although
Gary,
no auctions
you
this
can
weekend.
go and get focused.
I'll go and get focused. Thanks so much for that, Philip. I'll keep my response off screen. See you next week. I'm Gary Pierre.
I'm Philip Kingston. Thanks for watching.
Bye now.